Multiply monomials by polynomials. Okay, so what we want to do here is we want to go ahead and break this down. So I'm going to write this as 3h parentheses. This negative h, I'm going to make that a negative h to the second plus the 2h minus the 1. What I can do is I can cross out this h to the second and write this as two individual h's. So my first term, what I can do is take 3 times a negative 1, that's a negative 3, and then I can count. I have 1h, 2h, 3h. So I have h to the third. What I could do is I could also put that to the first power, and I could just say 1 plus 2 is 3. And again, this is a positive, that's a negative. So anytime I have this situation when I multiply, when I have one positive, one negative, the whole answer is negative. So let's move on to the next term. So we already did the first term. Let's move to the second term. So right here I want to take 3 times 2. So 3 times 2 is a positive 6. They each have only one h. So 1, 2. So this would be h to the second. And again, we could just add this up and say 1 plus 1 is 2. But you see that your degree is 3. So you know the next degree should be less than 3. So you're expecting it to be like a 2. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the last one. So I'm going to take 3 times a negative 1. Well, that's a negative 3. I know that this exponent has to be less than 2. So it can be h or no letters. But I see that I do have an h next to the 3. There is no h after the negative 1. So this stays as a negative 3h. So we do have this in standard form. So I have the 3h to the third, negative 3h to the third. So press in negative sign, press in 3, press in h, press the AB key, press in 3, and then your space bar. I press in the plus sign, I press in the 6, the h, the AB key is 2. Then I press the space bar, then I press in the negative sign, the 3, and the h. So I have negative 3h to the third plus 6h to the second minus 3h. Everything is based, standard form is based on the degrees or the exponents, the highest to the lowest. Okay, let's move on to the next problem. We're going to basically do the same thing. So I have the negative 5k to the second, and then I have k to the second minus the 4k. So right here, k to the second would be 2 individual k's, and right here would be 2 individual k's. I'll put a 1 here. So negative 5 times 1. Again, we have the same situation we had before. So I want to say a positive times a negative is a negative. When I see a single negative sign, when I multiply or even divide, it's negative. If I have 2 negative signs, it's positive. So this is a negative 5. And then let's count up the letters. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have k to the fourth. Now I could, since the letters are the same, I could just say 2 plus 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. So let's move on. Now this next one, I have 2 negatives. I have a negative 5 and a negative 4. That's going to make a positive. So 5 times 4 is 20. Since I have 2 negatives there, it turns into a plus 20. You see here I only have 1 k. And I know that my highest degree is 4, so my next degree has to be less than 4. A 3, a 2, a 1, or even no k, but it's got to be less than 4. So when I count this up, I got 1, 2, and 3. So this is k to the third. So now I come over here. I come over here next and I'll type in -5. So I'll press in -5. I'll put in the K. Press your AB key for your exponent. So my exponent is 4. Press your space bar. Press your plus sign. Press in 20. Press the K. Press the AB key and put in your 3. So I got -5K to the 4th plus 20K to the 3rd. This is in standard form because it's based on the degrees. Okay, let's take a look at the next problem. I got a 3x on the outside. So 3x, I got x to the second inside the parentheses minus the 5x plus the 6. There is no number in front, so let's put down a 1. As for this k to the second, let's make this 2k's, 2 individual k's. So let's multiply here first. So 3 times 1 is 3, and I count this up, 1, 2, 3, and x to the third. Now since this is just a single x, I could put down a 1, so you could even go on 1 plus 2 is 3. Now the next coefficient, the coefficients was front number, we'll multiply those together. Notice I have a positive times a negative. I only see this one negative sign, so the overall answer is going to be negative. So we're going to go and multiply these two terms together. So we already know it's going to be negative, so 3 times 5 is going to be a negative 15. So let me write a better minus sign here. So right here I'm going to say this is a negative 15, and I have 2 x's there, so that's x to the second. Okay, now I want to go on to the next one. Now notice this exponent was 3. The next exponent should be lower, so it should be anything less than 3, 2 is. And then the next exponent after the 2 has got to be something smaller than 2, so it could be 1 or even no exponent. Well, first off, 3 times 6 is a positive 18. But notice there's only a single x after the 3. There is no x after the 6, so it is a single x. So that's our answer in standard form. So let's type this in here. Let's start off with the 3 and with the x. Let's press the AB key. We now take it to the third. Press your space bar, brings the cursor back down. We need a negative 15. We need the letter x. We press the AB key. We put in a 2. Press the space bar. Press the plus sign. Press the 18 and then the x. So you have 3x to the third minus 15x to the second plus 18x. Okay, let's move on to the next one. What we have here is we have c to the second. Inside the parentheses we have c to the second minus 10c plus 25 and then parentheses. Now the c to the second is a monomial. What's inside parentheses? The c to the second, the minus 10c plus 25 is a trinomial. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take the c to the second. There is no numbers there, so put a 1 here and put a 1 here. This c to the second, you can write this as 2 c's. This c to the second, you can write this as 2 c's. So what we can do is take 1 times 1. 1 times 1 is 1, and we can count it up and see that we have c to the fourth. So that is my first term. So I've got c to the fourth with the 1 in front. And then I move on. Notice I have a positive 1 times a negative 10. Overall, my answer is going to be negative. So 1 times 10 is going to be a negative 10. Notice there is just one c there. So I have 1, 2, and then 3. C to the third. You knew that it's going to be less than the 4. it's got to be something less than the 4. So for it to be less than the 4, it can be a 3, a 2, or a 1. So I already knew that's going to be less than a 4. Just like before I move on, I know that the next degree has to be 2, 1, or none. So you can kind of predict ahead of time what's going to happen. Well, anyway, when I move on to the next one, because this was the second one we did, let's go now to the third one. So I'm going to take 1 times 25. So 1 times 25 is a positive 25. There is no C's there, so we're only going to use these C's here at the beginning. So this is 25C to the second. So all my degrees are in order. So let's type in the answer. Now, you don't have to put the 1 in. You can just disregard the 1. So we could just go C, press the AB key, put in a 4, press your space bar. We next want to type in a negative 10. So we're going to say C, press the AB key, take it to the third power, press the space bar. Then we want to press plus, then we want to have 25, and then C, press the AB key to the second. So let's go ahead and check this and see if this is correct, because we have C to the fourth minus 10C to the third plus 25C to the second.